wild tonight.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Fire Up! How excited are we tonight?
Very excited. Thank you. It's great to be here, as always.
Fired up. Get fired up. Let's go.
Yes. Yes. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna lead off because I'm really excited, and I'm kind of torn, and I will admit that. Tonight, obviously, is the playoffs for MLB, and of the 4 series, there is only one series that went to 3 games. And of course, it happens to have my team in it. The Milwaukee Brewers are taking on the New York Mets. Mets won the first game. The Brewers won the second game. And tonight they are in the top of 8, I believe, and the Brewers are up 2-0 right now. So
who's the pitcher, Candy? Because I will say this, former Pirate pitcher, and he's been probably on every team in Major League Baseball, Rich Hill, was just signed about 2 weeks ago.
I know. I think the Brewers just put in Freddie Peralta.
Okay, yeah, Rich Hill plays for the Mets. So
you could say F the Brewers, but guess what? They're in the other side. I'd almost rather face them than the Padres. I think the Tigers match up well with the Brewers.
Padres are dangerous, Jeremy. They are.
Yeah, Padres are dangerous, 100%.
But so are the Tigers.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what the Dodgers are going to do.
I did say that. I give you guys respect.
I know.
And my interest is what the Dodgers are going to do. Are they going to lay an egg again this year? That's my question.
Well, they get the Padres first, so they get the Padres next because I know the winner of the Brewers-Mets series gets the Phillies. So
the Phillies always manage to have a good team for some strange reason. I guess, so
they pay for it.
Yeah, they do. I will not deny that.
Well, and let's face it, I believe my Brewers are taking on the highest payroll in MLB. I believe the Mets have the highest payroll.
Yeah, they paid for their playoff.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
Let's hope we take them down.
Good old-fashioned Billy ball actually still works. Looking at the win above replacement numbers, looking at the matchups, and AJ Hinch is a master of that. We just saw that. I mean, on paper, there was no reason for the Tigers to sweep them. I thought it would go 3 and the Tigers might pull it out 2-1, but to sweep them the way we did, those pitching matchups, the batter matchups, the substitutions he made in both games were brilliant.
Kudos. I have to give kudos to the Tigers. I mean, they got hot at the end of the year here since August 11th, and that's what you need to do to have a good run here in the playoffs. And I think you guys match up pretty well with the Guardians.
Some people still call them the Indians. Just like the Commanders, they still call them the Redskins.
I thought the Guardians was a roller derby team in South Carolina. That's why they were getting sued over the name.
Yeah. Well, you guys start what, Saturday, I believe? I think that's.
I'd have to look. It's either Friday or Saturday. Yeah.
I think it's Saturday.
Oh, by the way, Jeremy, I forgot to mention, and everyone that watches the External Bum Show will still be going on. I will be broadcasting from my church because my wife has to go for choir practice. So I will be broadcasting from my church. Okay. So just to let everyone know.
Awesome. So yeah, it is the 8th inning. The Brewers are up 2-0, and the Brewers are batting in the bottom half of the 8th.
Go Brewers and take the Packers with you. I definitely still use Indians and Redskins. I'd say what I call them, but nobody likes it on this show. It's not clean enough.
Hey,
Yeah.
People still call Acrisure Stadium Heinz Field, and we actually have a Heinz Field. It's in Aliquippa High School. So.
Right. I actually call the Redskins what comes off at a bar mitzvah. There. Hey, at least I said it clean.
You did.
Yes.
Give you that. I'll give you that. So who do we think is gonna make the World Series?
Where Milwaukee's going right now might be Milwaukee.
And the way Tigers are going, I can't count out the Tigers.
I could see that.
You can't count out the Yankees, and you can't count out the Padres. I think those are the teams with the best odds to get there, in my opinion.
I hate to say this, but it's good to see the Yankees back in play.
You know what I hope happens? The same thing that happened in 2016. We see them in the ALCS and sweep them and go to the World Series.
Go to the World Series, yeah. Well, that's good. I hope it happens, but it's just good to see the Yankees back again. You know.
Tigers, Padres.
But I'm pushing for the Tigers because look at Arizona. They ended up in the World Series. I mean, you know, who would have thought? You know.
How about that?
So.
How great would that be? 40 years later, the World Series is won. 40 years after, with the same two teams in it. Doesn't matter who wins at that point. It would be a rematch from 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the last time the Padres were in the ALCS or NLCS or anything.
How you doing, D community? Good to see you.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm having some issues tonight with my eyes, and I can't really see everything. So
I got you covered.
Thank you.
Yes, I knew you
would. I want to flip the sport. Let's go to the NFL. I kind of want to. We've now had a month of all these NFL rookies. And I kind of want to go through some of the first rounders, and I want you guys to tell me what you think kind of grade wise you would give each of these first rounders so far that they've been playing. So let's start with, of course, the first taken in the draft was Caleb Williams, and he is quarterback of the Bears. What kind of grade would you give him so far?
I say a C minus.
Yeah, I was going to say a C. That's where I was going with mine. Because to be honest with you, we really haven't seen much of him except for what he's done right now. We have to wait and see when the going gets tough. That's what we got to see.
We've seen him come back against a team that had a prevent defense, and we've seen him beat a team that couldn't beat the Cardinals.
Right.
So they're 2-2. It's not bad, but it's not great. The first two games were less than desirable, less than 300 yards total, 0 touchdowns, 4 picks. That's not good.
No. And Matt Eberflus is this is the year that I think that if he doesn't do well, they're going to fire him. I believe that to be the case.
I think he gets a built-in excuse with a rookie quarterback, and he'll be back another season. That's my honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because the head coach and the GM goes whenever they take a quarterback early like that. Matt Nagy and the other guy, they drafted Justin Fields. Nothing happened in 2 seasons. Get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so taken at number 2 was Jaden Daniels, quarterback of the Commanders.
He's doing good. I give him a B.
I give him a B+, almost an A minus.
Yeah.
They're 3-1 and leading the division, and nobody saw it coming except for some certain guy that writes and talks NFL all the time. Said, "Watch out! There might be the surprise team in the East."
Yeah, they are, because they got they got Dan Quinn in his second term as the head coach. They got Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator, who is very good at working with quarterbacks. Stinks as a head coach both in college and pros, but he's a good coordinator and a good quarterbacks coach. So
I'd have gave Jaden Daniels an A if he wouldn't have came out and had 0 touchdowns and 2 picks in the loss in week 1.
Yeah.
So he's doing great. It's an A minus B+. It's in that area. And I said he'd be one of the better rookies coming out just because I liked the way he played the game better than certain other QBs that
Mhm.
came out in the draft.
Well, and he's completed 82.1% of his passes. Like, that's pretty darn good. I mean, I don't care if you're a rookie or not a rookie. Like,
Yeah.
most of the non-rookies aren't even completing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do know of a certain QB that had a really good 2 weeks in a row. He's 36-41 with 3 touchdowns and 0 picks.
You do, huh?
Yeah. You want to know who that is?
Who?
Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm. I knew. Okay. Number 3 in the draft, Drake May, quarterback for the Patriots.
I don't think he's seen any action yet, has he? No, so we can't give him a grade. He gets nothing. I mean,
he gets the incomplete. Just like they give you in
Right.
kindergarten. It's either satisfactory, unsatisfactory,
or incomplete.
or incomplete.
Wait, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Marvin Harrison Jr., number 4th, wide receiver.
Solid.
He's done pretty good. He's done okay.
I'd say a solid B.
Yeah, I agree with Jeremy.
Because he's a rookie, he's going to make mistakes, but he's had a solid effort so far.
I've heard his name, so
he's averaging 16.2 yards per reception.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that part's great. But if you look at the game per game thing, it's been up and down. It's inconsistent. So I'm going to give him a solid B.
He might be doing great in one perspective, Candy, but when you're a rookie, you make, like Jeremy said, you make mistakes, and it's a learning curve, and so that's Marvin Harrison Jr. right there.
Number 5, Joe Alt, offensive tackle with the Chargers.
He's starting. He did a pretty decent job on our defense. I thought, trying to hold back T.J. Watt. Yeah. I'll give him a B.
Yep, and I'll say a B as well.
Yeah,
a solid starter. He's done nothing that's wowed me yet. If he'd have
offensive linemen don't.
If he'd have pancaked TJ Watt, I'd have raised it up a bar.
Yeah, no, but he didn't. But he kept him in. He kept him in place. I mean, he didn't do anything fancy, but he kept them to where TJ Watt couldn't make a sack or anything. So,
Number 6, Malik Neighbors, wide receiver for the Giants.
He's doing pretty good too. Him and Harrison Jr.
I have him above because he's been more consistent even in losing games.
He's had touchdowns. I've heard his name come up for touchdowns. So, which is important.
He leads the league with 52 targets and 35 receptions. His 386 yards also ranked number 1 among 2024 rookies by a significant margin. Right. The only thing is the costly week 2 4th down drop.
Right.
Otherwise, he'd be almost perfect.
Which is why I said A-. I dock where it's important.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get into the end zone in a game where you lose by a little, guess what? I'm going to count that against you too.
Okay, number 7, J.C. Latham, offensive tackle for the Titans.
He's been in and out.
I think he's hurt. He's hurt.
He's been in and out of alignment, been hurt. Week one, he gave up a lot of pressures to that guy opposite Montez Sweat. So I'm actually going to put him at a C- because if he was playing better, Will Levis would be doing better. He's letting that pressure get to Will Levis, and Will Levis doesn't know how to handle pressure in the NFL. We've seen that. He throws it to everybody but his receivers.
I'm hearing former Steeler Mason Rudolph may start their next game. I've been hearing that.
So the next one would be number 8, Michael Penix Jr., but we all know that he hasn't taken a snap as well because Kirk Cousins has been.
The $108 million man is there.
180.
Or 80, I'm sorry. Yeah, I keep saying 108 for some strange reason. I don't know where I got that figure.
I don't know either. I think that was his guaranteed money, if I remember right.
Yeah.
He got a $180 million contract and 108 guaranteed.
Yeah, I'd like to have his agent.
And number 9, wide receiver Rome Adunes. I don't know if I'm saying that right. From the
Odunze.
Bears.
Odunze.
Adunte, yeah. Steelers wanted him.
I kind of have to give him a C+. He hasn't been bad, but with a quarterback that hasn't really been able to open him up until one game.
Who's he with, Jeremy?
He's with the Bears. He's got Caleb Williams throwing.
Oh, he's got Caleb Williams. Okay, yeah, I'll give him
C.
I'll give him a C. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. If he's with Caleb Williams, yeah.
Okay, obviously number 10 we can't really talk about because that's J.J. McCarthy, quarterback for the Vikings, and he underwent a full meniscus repair in August.
He gets the I with the little B next to it, because anybody who's hurt before they start their first season gets that bust moniker because they're always injured, is what everybody's going to say. And I'm throwing it out there because we heard it about certain players that were injured their first year and really couldn't play, and everybody called them a bust. And until they prove them otherwise, that's what they're going to say.
I'm going to skip to number 12, Bo Nix, quarterback with the Broncos. What would you guys say about Bo Nix?
I give Bo Nix a C, although he's been playing. Denver's winning a few games. I give him a C, maybe a B minus.
Yeah, Denver's 2-2 right now, mostly because of Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, yeah.
So I think you got to give him a solid B plus.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I give him a B minus, but we'll take
No, certain players that are on our roster right now that were labeled a bust that are showing out. He's in the top 5 in yardage right now.
And the guys that you thought were good are a bust. That happens all the time. Yes, it does.
Okay, guys. I mean, unless there's other ones that you really want to come out with, you guys can. Anybody else you want to talk about?
How's Laiatu doing? 15th pick overall for the Colts.
Oh, he did okay. He had a couple tackles in the game. He's defensive tackle. Yeah, he had a couple tackles.
He's a defensive end. Defensive end.
Yeah. Yeah, he had some tackles in the Steeler game. I thought he was okay. I'll give him a C.
Yeah, I think he's actually closer to a B minus C plus.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that when we listened to the interviews at the draft, he sounded like a coach in the draft. Another guy I don't mind talking
about. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, you want a player coming in to sound that mature.
Mm-hmm.
So
our first round pick, Troy Fomatu, he's hurt. He's done for the year. He's got a MCL or something.
Yeah, he hurt his MCL that
one game. Yeah. Thanks to Mike Tomlin, because Mike Tomlin had him out of position. He's a guard. He's not a tackle. He's too small to be a tackle. And Mike Tomlin keeps on doing this with these guys, and that's why they're getting hurt. Keep people where they are. They're at their natural position. Quit trying to switch people around and all that. And I get you want player flexibility, but Mike Tomlin's got this word for that. It's called swing tackle.
So right now, for those that are watching us and not watching the game, I want to give you a score update real quick.
I don't have Amazon.
The Buccaneers are up 24-17. It's been back and forth the entire game, but the Bucs started with the ball, and I don't think either team is punted yet. There's 30 seconds left in the game, according to Google at this time.
Wow.
And if you're watching the Brewer game, it's 2-0 in the 9th, 1 out, and the Mets have runners on 1st and 3rd.
Woo! Woo! There's a
We're gonna take the pitch. They're gonna take the pitcher out. 2 outs. And you got guys on base, and the batter's got 2 strikes on him, and you change the pitcher.
With 2 strikes on him, you change the pitcher?
You change the pitcher. Derek Sheldon's done it. I've seen a couple managers do it. Just to get that one out.
Terry Allen Arnold, a B minus. I say a C plus. I'm putting him more in the C range because he's dealt with some hands issues. He's a little handsy still, But that's the same with almost every corner that's not considered a generational talent coming out of college in their first year. They all get a lot of PI penalties.
Darius Mims with Cincinnati, he's been committing a lot of penalties. I watched him. Was it Sunday or Monday night they were on? I watched him. He was getting when Steelers were looking at him. He was getting he had a lot of penalties. So.
And the Packers took Jordan Morgan, and that's going to be incomplete because in week 2
he's hurt too.
He's hurt with a shoulder injury, and he's been
sidelined. Oh my! It's been like that all season, Candy. I don't know what's going on around here. I think conditioning is what it is, or there's not enough of something, or guys are not working out like the old timers used to. You know, that kind of thing. There's something wrong here. You know.
Thank you, Greg Rice. Greg Rice is one of our West Coast patrons that watches my show.
Hey, really Greg Rice from the West Coast.
Yep. They call him the Stat Master, and him and I have debated. We've actually done really well giving out stats together.
Well, that's good. That's good.
The Mets just hit a 3-run home run, so they are now 2.
And you guys are at home, right? Because you were the division winner.
We are at home, so the Brewers do get up in the 9th. But
hey, Candy, I got a good one for you. When the Brewers when the Pirates were starting to play the Brewers when they came to the National League and Miller Park was built, they asked our manager at the time, who was Lloyd McClendon. They said, "What's your thoughts on their new ballpark?" He said, "It looks like an airplane hangar." He said, "It looks like an airplane hangar." It kind of does a little bit.
I take Lloyd McClendon's advice with a grain of salt for one reason.
What's that?
The guy was a career .220 hitter and was a batting coach for the Detroit Tigers during our worst batting period ever.
Well, he followed Jim Leland around and Gene Lamont and all them guys. You know, they were all there. They had their own little club everywhere they went. They all went together. You know,
I just hated the fact that Gates Brown was going into the end of his career, was coaching the Tigers as a good hitting coach, and once Sparky was gone, Gates Brown was gone, and a guy like Jim Leland could have benefited because Gates Brown was still around at the time. With that lineup, a hitting coach like that instead of Lloyd McClendon, because it seemed like all of our good hitters after 3 years started to go in the batting average.
Yeah. Yeah, he brought Gene Lamont with him. He always had Tommy Sant. And I could probably name you 3 or 4 guys he would always take. He had Andy Van Slyke. He had, a bunch of guys from his old players and old coaches. It's like a little club or whatever, guys you trust. I mean, like that.
Yep.
Milwaukee was good enough to trust Murphy to take over as manager after Council left to go to Chicago. And look, but he has the talent too, and Milwaukee's got a good scouting department. Look at them; they're in the playoffs all the time. They're always on top.
There is a guy I want to give credit to because of what he talked about at the draft. A guy that was drafted after Perrion Arnold. He was picked 29 for the Arizona Cardinals. That was Darius Robinson, the kid defensive end out of Missouri. Because I actually recorded his entire interview because what he was saying was so amazing. I love the fact that he talked about his game prep for a week. One of the reporters asked him, and I was like, "Ooh, I actually want to hear this," so I recorded it. He said, "On Monday, I hit because Sunday's the day off. Monday starts in the ice tub and watching game film while he's in there." And he takes notes about what he made mistakes on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes out and his workout that afternoon is working on what he made mistakes on. Why did he start off with the wrong foot, or why did he lead with the wrong hand? Why did he not do this move or that move? And studied it and perfected it to where it wasn't a mistake anymore. Then the next day, he comes in and for 3 hours will watch game film of the other film of the specific person he's lined up against and see what his tendencies are, how he blocks, and everything else. And he takes all those notes. And not only does he read them, but he lets all of his line mates on the defensive line read it. because he'll take notes about the left tackle, the left guard, the center, the right guard, the right tackle, and he shares that. So if you look, because how many household names are on the Arizona Cardinals defensive line? There isn't, other than his, because he was a first round talent. And I'm quite sure that's why they are having success with pressure, because of the way he is. It's like having a D-line coach in your defense as a rookie.
Yep. Yep.
And
That's awesome.
I see that's why the Lions had him high on their draft board, but Carryon Arnold ranked just a little bit higher.
Somebody at the
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I thought somebody was at our door, and that's so we got the. I'm not going to go into it here. Go ahead.
All right. James Burgess, Ralph, Cindy, and of course SJB. Have a great night and get your tires at Brandon's. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
mentioning
you.
my sponsor, not on their, not on.
Thank you.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay, guys. What else would we like to talk about? Any matchups that you want to talk about this weekend?
I heard that the Lions are favored by 70 with the bye week. I think they cover.
Yeah, I was gonna check into the games, but like I said earlier, I'm having issues with my eyes tonight, so looking at stuff is kind of hard for me.
It is. It did go into halftime. The Falcons were not able to score in that final drive, so it is Buccaneers 24, Falcons 17.
I could see somebody said something about Lloyd McClendon here as a little league legend or something.
Yeah, he was back when he was back at one of the first Little League World Series. He was like a player of the game.
Thanks,
Thank you, James
James.
Burgess. Good night. And D Community says,
Thank you,
Lions,
James.
Cowboys. You're going to get lots of that talk out of me. I have some things that I like to say on my channel that I can't say on this channel because some things are frowned upon, and I don't want to make the boss mad.
There you go. Smart. Okay. Well, the Packers play the Rams, but the Rams are kind of beaten up. They're kind of injured.
Yeah, they are very much so. They got they got Jimmy G as one of their quarterbacks, so that's a mash unit down there.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully
Who are they playing, Candy?
The Rams are playing the Packers.
I hope the Packers win. I'm taking the Packers in that game.
So, Steelers play the Cowboys.
I'm taking the Steelers. The Cryboys are banged up.
Yeah, the Crybabies are missing two of their defensive standouts. Lawrence and Parsons is out. Deron Bland is still on the IR. So they're going to struggle defensively. Offensively, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, TJ Watt wakes up.
You can share that with Scott after the show, what I put in the private chat.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, you know what it reminds me of? And the Rams bragged about beating the Lions that year. The year they went to the Super Bowl was Dan Campbell's first year here, when the Rams squeaked by the Lions, and Aaron Donald said Penei Sewell is a real one. The kid's going to be an All-Pro. That was what he said after the game, because Aaron Donald could not get pressure on Jared Goff.
Well, I'll tell you what hurt Sean McVay was when he had no drafts for 3 years. And then he went out and he got all these free agents, and then they all start getting hurt, and then stuff like that. You don't do stuff like that. You have to have some kind of draft to build some kind of players, because just bringing in all veterans and not having any kind of a draft, forget it.
They didn't have a first round pick since Jared Goff,
right?
Until last year was their first round pick since they drafted Jared Goff.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, it's just, look at Mike Ditka. Remember when he was with New Orleans and he drafted Ricky Williams and sold the rest of his draft? Said, I don't need anybody else. I got who I want. Look what happened there.
Oh, and they got the Super Bowl. 100% it was worth it. But at the same time, Everybody says, "Oh, Stafford went to a team built for Goff and won it right away." They forget that they added 3 key players after week 8.
Yeah.
Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, and OBJ, because Robert Woods went down in week 9 or week
Yeah.
10. A week and a half after they got OBJ, Robert Woods miraculously has an ACL tear. I'm still wondering if OBJ's dad didn't pull a Dante Kerrigan.
Could have.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I throw all the weird conspiracies out there. And not just one dropped INT. The one would have sealed the game, and that was safety Jesse Bates. And don't forget, in the NFC Championship game, Jaquiski Tart did the same exact thing. Hit him right in the breadbasket, and he dropped the interception that would have sealed the 49ers going to play against the Bengals. You know, as much as I love Nat Stafford when he was here, but that's one of the things I always hated is that sometimes when he was going for that key moment, he'd make that decision that would cost the win.
Okay, guys. Yep, he forgot.
The quarterback the NFL forgot.
Oh boy. Okay, well, we're gonna switch to a different sport because we're
Sure.
talking about rookies. We're talking about rookies. Caitlyn Clark wins Rookie of the Year and named to the All Rookie team. She received 66 out of 67 votes for the award. And the one person voting for Angel Reese of the Chicago Sky was from the according. So
Was
the
a
other
Chicago
vote was for Angel.
was a Chicago beat writer. That's who voted for her.
Yep.
And I get it, but it got to a point where she was 4 rebounds away late in the game from getting her point. She just kept throwing the ball at the backboard and rebounding it herself. How is anybody going to get a rookie of the year when your shooting percentage is 19.8%?
Mm-hmm. Yep. She said the former Iowa star led all first years with 19.2 points per game. She also averaged a rookie record 8.4 assists while shooting 41.7% from the floor and 34.4% from 3. The 22-year-old shattered several league records in her first professional campaign. She became the first rookie to record multiple triple-doubles and set a new single-season mark by any player with 337 total assists, helped in part by the single-game record 19 she posted in the July 17th loss to the Dallas Wings.
Wasn't that when she got her first triple-double, too?
I think that, yeah.
That was when she set the record as the first rookie to get a triple-double in the WNBA.
Correct.
Moses Malone did it all the time. Yeah, that is pretty good.
Okay, guys, my town.
I'm ready.
Okay, Ralph, go for it.
Well, as we're going to have Justin Fields as our starting quarterback for the Steelers this week against Dallas. I predict 24-14 score. I think Pittsburgh wins at home against the Cryboys this week. So we're going to see what happens there. The Pittsburgh Pirates, on the other hand, fired a name that you might know, Andy Haynes. He got fired. He was our hitting instructor. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we had the Eckstein brothers who couldn't do anything, and now Haynes has been fired. Our bullpen coach has been fired because our bullpen had a bad year, and so making some changes. But Derek Sheldon will still be the manager, and we'll still be only winning 70 games in the next 10 years. So anyway. And then we got rid of some players that were owed $200,000 bonuses. because Bob Nutting is a penny pincher. He pinches pennies so bad Lincoln's head comes out. So, that's the story there. Hockey season has started. The Penguins are getting going here. They had to cancel the game last Saturday because of travel problems. The charter plane that the Penguins have couldn't. So they had mechanical problems. They had to land somewhere else, so the game never happened. So but we'll see what the Penguins do this year. I hope that Erik Karlsson's not a bum this year and he ends up doing something. So we'll see what happens there. And as I mentioned, the Steelers, no Russell Wilson again. He'll probably, but he's getting closer to being able to play. I'm hoping sooner or later they fire the conditioning coach for letting him pull a sled, which still hasn't happened yet. I'm waiting for that. So, but other than that, that's it here for my town. Oh, and by the way, the city just allocated $1 million to help with the NFL draft for 2026. So, oh, and by the way, they had to remove the Art Rooney statue from Acrisure Stadium. You want to know why? He was in violation of smoking ordinance. He has a cigar in his hand at the statue. Yeah, he's in violation of smoking ordinance. No, every year they take a statue and they take it somewhere and it gets cleaned. So then they bring it back. So
I kind of figured it was something like that, but that was good.
Okay. So
well, the Steelers won't have to play catch up no more because it's not Heinz Field to play catch up.
All right, there you go. All right, so my town. Well, check the Tigers payroll. Well, they're the 26th payroll in the league. We're not the worst, but we're damn sure not the best. But when you're talking about that, 13 rookies. And I say this number for a reason. 13 rookies are on our roster. All 13 rookies add up to $18.8 million. I bring that specific amount up for a reason. Josh Hayden, the star middle reliever and sometimes starter for the Houston Astros, makes $19 million a year, and he couldn't shut down a single one of those rookies. So kudos to the Tigers and the rookies for making somebody look like they should look. Because $19 million, when everybody says, "Oh, that's a lot of money," it really isn't when you're looking at pitchers and high-end players in this league. That's a middle-of-the-road guy, a journeyman that every now and then is an all-star. So, but the fact you've got 13 players that equals less than his salary is pretty darn good. And of course, I mentioned Jared Goff already. How amazing is that the five incompletions were all in the game a week and a half ago, not the game that was played Monday. So that means he went 18 of 18 for 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he caught a touchdown. This is the 5th time in NFL history that 2 players have caught and received a touchdown, or passed and received a touchdown in the same game. But it's the first time a quarterback has ever thrown 18 passes for a complete game without an incompletion. Congratulations on making NFL history, Jared Goff.
Yes.
Dan Campbell said it best. You're good enough for Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Dan Campbell. I'm impressed with what he's done there. He's been a guy that, I'm going to do it like this, a guy, like Mike Tomlin, a guy that has done well coaching the Detroit Lions. He's a tough guy, and he's brought that toughness to the team.
And he says it from here. He doesn't do
exactly.
It here.
Right.
He speaks from his heart. I love the stuff he says. It comes off.
And he has some good assistants, too. He has Leslie Frazier and Ben Johnson. He still has some good assistants there. So
Leslie Frazier is was the assistant DC. He's no longer here.
Oh, really? Oh, what? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't look at that.
So I can be official and tell you the Mets are moving on. They have beat the Brewers, unfortunately.
Oh gosh! Wow.
So the big payroll won out over the small market team. We kept saying the little engine that could ran out of steam, I guess.
Well, I was rooting for Milwaukee, Candy, because you root for them, and also I was rooting for them because they're in our division. So
And yes, with this last win, Dan Campbell is officially above 500 because of the tie. He is 27, 27, and 21. 4 games
wow.
into the fourth year here. Considering he started off 3-13-1, that's one hell of a comeback in 2.25 seasons.
Yeah, it is.
And as for my Packers, they're 2-2. The 2 wins were with the backup quarterback. The 2 losses were with the quarterback we just paid a boatload of money. Now, I will say part of this last week, they lost to Minnesota. They lost by 2 points. They came back. They did miss 2 field goals in that game. And they're still sticking with this kicker and think he's
to quote a famous TV character to the GM of the Packers, Goodykers, when you cut or wave James Turner, shine, shine, shine.
I agree.
That's all I got to say, because James Turner was actually rivaling Michael Badgley while he was here. But when Jake Bates decided he was signing with Detroit, he wasn't necessary. So we waived him. And you guys knew he must have been good because your GM snatched him up within an hour of him being waived. He didn't stay on the market even 24 hours. But to do that, not even really give him a shot and cut him, and then have your one guy not do so well in the preseason, the other guy did okay. So you cut a guy and you bring in a guy because that guy gets injured week 1. It didn't make sense. You could have kept him on the practice squad. You didn't need to waive him. I understand that depth is depth and stuff like that, but there's a reason why we always have a kicker on the practice squad. We always make sure we have one. If one gets poached, we pick another one back up. And that's because you never know when somebody's going to get injured. All it takes is while they're on that plant foot up in the air and a guy dive at the wrong part, and a guy's got a high ankle sprain, an ACL, an MCL, or something like that. And if you don't have a backup kicker in your practice squad, you're kind of screwed.
Hey, Candy, there's a guy out there that plays in the UFL. He used to kick for Pitt. His name is Chris Blewett. That's his actual name. So every time he used to blow it, they used to say Blewett, Blewett. Well, he played for the Maulers in the USFL, and he was on a couple other teams. The guy can kick. Maybe Green Bay needs to go take a look at him.
Blewett was a Packer at one time.
Yeah, Chris Blewett. You blew it.
And he blew it in the preseason, was cut from the team.
Myron Cope, our former color analyst, who's up in heaven with the Lord, he used to pick on guys like Blewett or something like that. Like when Cleveland had Benjamin Gay, he used to say, "There goes that Bengay. You end up having pain with the Bengay."
I want Bob Uecker to be invited in to be a guest announcer for the Detroit Lions, just so he can be on the radio with Dan Miller and Lomas Brown, and you can hear him do that speech from Major League. And next week is Die Hard night. Free tickets to anyone who was alive the last time the Lions won a world championship.
The Bobby Lane curse, I'm told.
I don't think that curse is valid anymore.
Oh, okay.
I between what if you look at everything that happened in 2022 with this team,
our curse here is the San Antonio Holmes curse. Because right after the year they went to the Super Bowl, he got arrested for smoking marijuana, and after that, he cut him, and ever since then, we haven't won anything.
We did 3 things in succession. After that Sunday game just before the trade deadline, which was our bye week that week, we fired Aubrey Pleasant, and he was our passing game coordinator while we went on that horrible 1-7 run in 2022. Then we traded away TJ Droppinson. And yes, he doesn't look like that with Minnesota, and that's fine. But when we drafted him, and I remember it draft night, and I was okay with it because of what he was touted as by all of the scouting draft pundits. The guy's an extra tackle when blocking and running and passing down. He ranked 115th out of 120 tight ends and offensive linemen graded by PFF in his 3 years here as a blocker. He now grades in the top 30, which means he could have did it. He never wanted to do it in Detroit, probably because he played for Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. But that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, during that bye week, in the middle of the home end of the field at Ford Field, Jeff Daniels had a bathtub that he filled with whiskey, and he came in with it was Peyton Manning and Jeff Daniels, and they did a curse lifting ceremony. Yeah, the rest was on William Clay Ford Jr., but we'll get into that another time.
Okay,
and they did it.
I would say I'd be remiss if I didn't say, I mean, you all know I live in South Florida. The Stanley Cup Florida Panthers will start their season. I believe it's on Tuesday, the regular season. Before that, they're going to have it's either Sunday or Monday. I think it's the day before. I think they're charging $20 if you want to go see the ring ceremony and everything like that. It's not before the game. It's a separate
event. Yeah.
It's a separate event. Mm-hmm.
I got picked to pick one of these.
Hey, I'll fly down there and pay $20 to a ring presentation.
Seeing as Eric Ebron's retired and Jeff Okuda is already on the IR for the Texans, if you're going to make me choose one of them or take a bullet, give me the gun.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. I'm at that point. Okuda hasn't been able to stay on a roster since he left Detroit. He's on the IR. Another guy that was picked, and granted it was the 5th round, but he was still picked by the Bob Quinn regime. Amari Oruwariye came in and played for the Giants one game. To the IR he goes. It's just a testament that those guys did not pick good guys other than offensive linemen. That's it.
Anything else we want to talk about tonight?
No, I don't have anything else to say. Oh, I'm sorry. I did forget my town. The I didn't forget, but I forgot something that I forgot to mention during my town, is what I'm saying. The Pittsburgh area will be getting a women's soccer team called the Pittsburgh Riverettes, and it'll be run by the Pittsburgh River Hounds, or sponsored by them. And we start play 2025. And I will be, of course, interviewing a lot of the players and coaches and stuff with that. I like the small teams, you know. The Riverhounds do draw. They're expanding their field and everything. So it's nice to see we're going to have a women's soccer team. And the Penguins are working on getting us a women's hockey team as well, professional women's hockey team.
Wow, yeah. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this for my parting shot. Scott Morgenroth wrote a book. Holy
yes, he did.
It's actually pretty good.
It is a good book.
You should probably read it. It's called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders.
It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple, and Google Books. Get your copy today. Okay. Ralph, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, Facebook, YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel. Check out Ralph Williams, RW Media. I have several shows there as well. Also, don't forget on Tuesday nights, the Sports Corner Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, 4 to 5, and then 5 to 6, Wrestle Talk. We have a great lineup of guests for this Tuesday, the 8th. and we're going to continue to go with that. And don't forget on Saturdays, this Saturday as well, 9 a.m., the External Bum Show with myself, Scott Morganroth, Jeremy Baldrick, and Leo Haggerty. And also Sunday, we have a post game show that I do, Steeler post game, immediately following the Steeler game, 30 minutes afterwards, with myself and Steve Spates, sometimes smoking Jim Frazier or some other guests. So that's how you can get a hold of me. And also don't forget my Saturday radio show starts this Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., 12:50 a.m., 92.5 FM, and also on the Answer's website. The name of the station is called The Answer. Go on the 12:50 a.m. theanswer.com and check it out. I think it's on iHeartRadio as well. Check out the website. My show's on 2 to 3 every Saturday. So other than that, that is it. Oh, by the way, on Sunday I do a show called Bible Capsule, and we're going to start a series this month on faith. So,
okay, Jeremy, how can people watch you, read you, whatever?
It's a news break. Yes, that's on the SouthFloridaTribune.com. You can see my writing under the Motor City Tribune heading. I write about the Lions, occasionally throw in something about the NFL. Hopefully soon we can pick up a college team for me to write about, because I'm looking to broaden my horizons and expand my repertoire. You can also find me right here on the South Florida Tribune on the Fire Up Show every Thursday night. You can find me on RW Media on Facebook or on YouTube with the External Bum Show on Saturday.
Sure.
And you can find me on my channel pretty much every day of the week. Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions. It broadcasts into YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and also Roku and Amazon Fire Stick. I'm everywhere. I'm not just nationwide anymore. I'm worldwide. Holy smoke! How'd that happen?
well, we have a TV network here called WTA, and they say Action News is everywhere. Jeremy's everywhere. So am I, actually.
There you go. Well, as
Squeaky
Jeremy
wheel
said,
gets the grease.
there you go. Jeremy said earlier, my husband Scott wrote a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It talks about Scott's 40 plus years in the media business and how it has changed over those 40 years plus years. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple, and Google Books. There is a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where you can get his book. You can also see our merchandise. You can also read Mr. Jeremy.
I'm over here behind the book making faces. That's why I was laughing.
And my pictures. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott 954-304-4941. Our broadcasts are all on wherever you get your podcasts. We broadcast there too. So Monday nights we're talking baseball. Tuesday nights we talk football. Wednesday nights Sports Exchange. You never know what we're going to be talking about. Also, I will say on Wednesday nights, Jeremy, George, and Scott are on nofilter.net for the Motor City Madmouth show. So check that out. Thursdays, Scott is now doing Fire Up Florida, which is his hockey show with Rod Peterson. And then we do the Fire Up show here. Catch all of our shows, any of our shows. If you see that red subscribe button, click it. Like us. Share us with all of your friends and family. Anyone you think that would be interested in learning or listening to any one of us. But also then go to all of the different participants we have across the channel. And I want to definitely thank everybody that was in the chat room tonight. It's been great to have all of the different people commenting, asking questions. We welcome questions. So thank you, everybody. Jeremy, how are we going to end the show?
Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to all of our followers and everyone in the chat. I hope you have a blessed and safe weekend. And if you can't,
so do I.
If you can't be safe, be careful, because if you don't, you might end up in jail.
Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Have a good night.